and it is by one of my favorite brands that's stocked by Verishop, and it is the Hugo Boss men's rhythm shirt. And it was originally $128. It is now 108. So again, it's that 15% off, which I believe you can still get for the following half an hour after the show, or if, as you see and feel and wish, you can also purchase it now as well. So again, this is sort of more of a rust color, which I really, really like. And also it does have a patch pocket, which, to be fair, I've always found very, very convenient, to be fair, to be having that sort of patch pocket, because sometimes, if you need to like maybe keep a couple of business cards, for instance, or maybe a credit card, if you don't have maybe wide enough pockets to be able to carry a wallet on you, then it's always nice to be able to have that as an added addition and embellishment. And of course, like, I know we've spoken about this before, but I'm always a massive fan of, the devil being in the detail. So it's all, for me, men's clothing has also always been about just the little added embellishments as well, but they're always for more of a practical utilitarian purpose. And certainly having a patch pocket on one shirt does that. So this does have that. And I believe it is also, again, Hugo Boss, fantastic brand. They're certainly, in regards to quality, I would say, one of those brands that, if you're going to invest the money in a decent summer shirt, I would probably highly recommend this. And actually, I think this is probably my live stream shirt of the season. So you've got that first here, guys. I think for me, out of all the shirts we've spoken about before, I think this is probably the one that I would purchase. And again, it's just a really nice, like, traditional and classic palm print. And that's something you can't go wrong with. And the one thing I would also say is, in regards to Hawaiian shirts in general, they tend to never really go out of fashion. I would always, for summer, be having a couple of Hawaiian shirts on me at all times, as I showed you earlier. And actually, even the shirt that I'm currently wearing now, well, it's more of sort of like a bowling aesthetic, the shirt I'm wearing now, but it certainly sort of fits into that sort of line, I would say, or realm rather. So yeah, so this is the Hugo Boss men's rhythm shirt. It's currently $108. It was originally $128. So if you feel free, it's there, guys. And I think, as far as I'm concerned, currently this is my top pick shirt. We were talking obviously about detachable collars, and that was in the 1820s. So staying with the collar theme, actually, polo players apparently invented the button-down collar. So obviously, as you know, I don't know if I've got a shirt here to show you actually, but a lot of shirts, they can have the option of having a button-down collar, and generally, I actually don't prefer, if it's a certain type of shirt, I do tend to prefer a good button down. I think there's an element that can be smarter as well. Obviously, there's a whole language with collars as well. I mean, I know when I know we talked about this before, but when I used to work in men's suit shops in London, in Piccadilly, we would have different types of collars. So, for instance, one of the types of collars that you can also buy is something called a breakaway type collar. And generally, this would be found in work shirts. And it's sort of almost like a more wider collar, and they've sort of, as I said, it was slightly more open, but you can sort of buy collars as well that are slightly more pointed, and obviously, as I said, a button-down collar. So yeah, so apparently, and I didn't know this, but apparently polo players invented button-down collars. And I mean, obviously, again, it's always about practicality, because, if you're on a horse and you've got a mallet and you're swinging the mallet around, and, the horse is galloping, you don't really want to have like intricate or unnecessarily flappy collars. So that's the reason why we have button-down collars from polo players. So yeah, just to sort of round up again, in regards to, if you're just joining in now, the history of the shirt originated in ancient Egyptian times with Egyptian cotton. 3,000 years old. There's a shirt in London that you can still go and see. And as I said, it's actually very sort of, I mean, it is 3,000 years old, you can definitely tell, but it is still in relatively good condition. So you could go and see it. And as I said, if you're going to go and see in this museum, you should also go and see the world's oldest pair of socks that they also have there. So as I said, ancient Egypt, the start of the shirt. It wasn't really until the 18th century the modern invention of the shirt began with, obviously, I know we've spoken about them before, but the modern British dandy, Beau Brummell, who is, his statue actually is situated on Jermyn Street in Piccadilly, which is where I used to work. So next time you're in London, guys, you can tick all these boxes and go and see all these, like, you know, landmarks and museums, such as Boo Brummell's statue. And please do pay your respects, because, you know, he certainly did move fashion forward in regards to sort of paring things down and making things a little bit more simplistic. We also talked about the reason why there's a difference in the terminology and the invention of the terminology of blue and white collar workers. We spoke about that. And also, we just very briefly spoke about in 1827, the detachable collar was invented by a New York upstate housewife who was probably a little bit tired in regards to washing her husband's shirt. Talking back to shirts, I'm going to go on to the final product.